Hey everybody, and welcome to The Void, a show dedicated to filling the void between being an employee and becoming self-employed. Most people refer to starting your own company as taking the leap, as if you are blindly jumping off a cliff and into the unknown. This show is here to help you understand that it does not have to be that way. As always, if you like what you're hearing on the show, please do us a favor and help share The Void with somebody else who might also be wanting to start their own company. We saw an opportunity to help others understand that self-employment is well within your reach, and just as our businesses have grown organically and by word of mouth, we want this show to grow the same way. So if you see somebody asking questions about starting their own company or recently starting their own company and they have questions about how to do things, please feel free to mention The Void or to drop a link to one of the shows to them. I'm your host, Mitch Smedley, and with me as always is David.
Mitch, what's up, buddy?
What's going on?
How was the week?
It's busy.
Busy?
Good busy, though.
How are the boys?
Productive busy.
Productive busy. Boys are good?
Boys are ornery, as always.
No new trouble this week, anyway.
No new trouble.
No new trouble?
Yeah. Same old trouble.
Yeah, same old trouble.
So,
what's up, Marcus?
How's it going, guys?
We got Marcus back there.
There we go.
He's
Often heard, never seen.
There we go.
I don't get it. I mean, I get it. But
I'm telling you, people, we're doing you a favor by keeping Marcus off the camera.
Yeah. You know what? I've actually had a good day today, guys. So.
Oh, well.
You mean try to keep it going?
Just try
not to mess up the recording process.
We'll have Megan spray some what's this?
Some sage.
Some sage,
yeah. We are here with our second guest. Third guest. Man, these are adding up on me so quick.
Yeah.
Megan Sevart-Culbertson.
Yeah.
Megan, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
No, thanks for being on the show with us.
Thanks
for being with us.
My other option, my husband's out of town, so I'd be solo parenting 4 kids at home. So I'm thrilled.
She was like, please
I'm
have
like,
me
yes,
on.
I'm in.
I'm in.
Yep, I'm there. That night works.
Oh my God. Yeah. Sign me up. I can do it.
Sign me up.
Mitch didn't know that it's International Women's Day today.
Right.
Didn't look at the Facebook this morning, I guess.
Megan reminded me of that.
It's
just ironically,
awesome.
It's our first female guest
Yay.
on International Women's Day.
Yes.
Oh, I'm honored.
And all of Megan's businesses surround themselves around women and women only.
That's right.
This is awesome.
I serve women. They're my people.
Yeah.
Her peeps.
And guess what? When I serve women, then they're happier, they're healthier, and they're better partners.
Yeah.
Two men.
Mm.
Or women.
Hey.
However they want to love.
2 men. I like it.
Yeah.
Better part. Yeah.
Get Janine on the yoga.
I about got myself in hot water. Somebody sent me a picture, and it was like an old school 50s, it was like an advertisement for men, like, men, here's how to train your wife to be a better wife.
My husband sent me that.
Yeah, like she'll fetch your paper, and she'll fetch your slippers, and
Yeah.
she'll pick up on your social cues of when you're not in the mood to talk.
The 1950s, baby.
And when you get home from work, and make sure to have dinner ready.
Yeah.
And don't tell him about your troubles because he's had a long day.
It's like,
Bullshit.
man, we've come a long way. Holy cow.
Have that martini ready, baby.
Yeah.
I sent it to my wife. I'm like, you think this would fly in our house? She goes, with flip-flops it would. At your head.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh.
I'm not sure that she's like that. I think she might just wait and bottle it up, and then when you're asleep, just put the pillow right over top of you.
Yeah.
Just
nice, slow, easy one.
I'll show him. Oh, man.
Marcus, is her mic too high? Is it good?
Am I good?
No. Like on the camera.
Oh.
Does it need to go down a little bit?
She looks good.
I think she's fine with this one.
So
It's at an angle.
Take it down just a hair.
Okay.
yeah, you can pull it down and then crank it. There you go, just like that.
There? Better?
So for those that are listening,
we
want
to see Megan smile.
We also
see her
film all
smile.
of these and put them on YouTube, and so we wanted to make sure that you weren't going to be staring at a microphone named Megan this whole time. So
That's good. I mean, I seen her from her camera. So
right. All right.
All
Megan,
right.
how about you take a few minutes and kind of tell us about what you do and how it started and everything else?
Awesome. Well, first, thanks for having me.
You bet.
So I have always been an entrepreneur. Started my first company when I was 21. Was actually $1 million in debt when I was 21. And I tell people when I talk about that, it was monopoly money because at 21 you have no concept of what $1 million is.
Right.
So I got kind of in over my head. But the beautiful thing is I am one of those people that I don't give up. So I owned those companies, took 10 years to pay off my loans, took about another 5 years to be able to package them to sell them. And then I sold them. And that was 5 years ago. And so 5 years ago, I say I had freedom to do what really sets my soul on fire and my passion, my purpose. And that's to help women specifically create and live lives they love. And so I do that through coaching purposeful women entrepreneurs and then teaching yoga. So that is kind of
the online yoga thing. Fascinates me.
Yes. So
I had a ton of questions about it before the show. We always do a little bit of show prep, and I was just, I'm asking her, how do you do that? Do you store those? Do they go on a server? How does that work? I mean, it's extremely interesting. I think let's go into it just a little bit.
Yeah, and all of those were questions I had too, because I never, and as a business coach, I did not plan on owning an online yoga company.
Yeah.
I did not plan on owning an online yoga company. I loved coaching women entrepreneurs to create the business of their dreams. And then COVID hit and sacred yoga studios were shut down. And I really felt like women needed yoga now more than ever. I mean, we were schooling our kids from home. We were working from home. We had this fear of like this unknown virus, and we didn't have yoga. And so I immediately just started serving yoga via Facebook Lives.
Right.
Because I was
is that how you were doing it?
That's how I was doing it. So I was just getting on Facebook Lives. I had never used Zoom.
Right.
So then I opened a Zoom account, and then I started doing 3 Facebook Lives a week, 2 Zoom Lives, and I did this free for 60 days. And I don't know if you guys remember, in the spring of 2020, like most of us thought it was like 8 weeks. We're going to stay home for 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And then we're going to all go back to normal.
It would just turn off and then turn back on. Right.
Yes. So when I realized that wasn't going to happen, because my background is entrepreneurship, I was like, okay, I'm going to flip the switch and turn this into an online yoga company.
Right.
And so 60 days, did it for free. And then I did like a 30-day launch as I was prepping to launch Megan's Yoga Tribe online yoga studio. And my goal was 30 members in that first 30-day launch. So,
and you were well on your way.
Oh, yes. So that was probably because I had offered the classes for free. And again, I was the only one teaching. I didn't have instructors. I was teaching these 5 classes a week. I was serving the community, and so they showed up for me. Whenever I launched it, they signed up. And I still to this day, every single time a woman signs up, I do a happy dance still.
Yeah.
And we're at like almost 250 members.
Right.
Holy cow.
And so I still get that excitement that someone is saying yes to making their health and happiness a priority.
Right.
And I want to go into what you brought up at the very beginning, that you had were $1 million in debt, and can you explain, to other people that, this whole show is about giving people information as to not make the same mistakes like you may have made. Look, I made a lot of mistakes when I started mine, and we've gone over a lot of that. It's been very humbling when we do that. Can you just give a couple of examples of like things you learned about, like I wouldn't have done this, in the, what I did here?
Absolutely. I feel wrong or right. Our experiences, our past experiences obviously make us have different perspectives on things, right?
Oh, yeah.
Based
Definitely.
on our past experience. So, especially when I'm coaching women entrepreneurs and they're kind of at a crossroads in their business, one thing I so deeply believe is don't take loans from family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we talk about
here
that.
we go. I'll tell you my story. Again, I was 21. I had nothing. I owned a $90,000 house in Independence that I bought when I was 19 because I'm an overachiever, and that's what I did. I bought a house at 19.
Same.
And so I had nothing, and went to the SBA, wanted to buy these businesses, and I legit, like these men at the table, I call them, I've now arrived and I've earned a
Yeah.
seat here. But when I was actually 20 going through the SBA loan process. It was a 6-month process.
They're laughing at you.
I was so confident. I believed that I could do it. And guess what? I did it.
Oh.
I did it. I mean, I absolutely 100% paid every single penny back to that SBA. But I was fearless.
Yeah.
And they were telling me, you need this, you need that. And I was like, just fly from LA, sit in front of me and tell me no. That's how confident I was.
Right.
And guess what? They didn't tell me no. But they did tell me I had to have $160,000 down payment. Well, I did not have $160,000 at that time. So I took a loan from my grandparents.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Especially because this was back in 2005. The recession hit in 2008. It was overwhelming. And I tell people all the time, for 10 years, I lived in fear, overwhelm. It was knowing that I owed people I loved $160,000.
Right.
The weight of that as a 21, 22, 20, the weight of that was too great. So my advice is always work your ass off if you do need the capital, if you do need the money, or it needs to be a gift and there can't be the expectation of it being paid back.
Repaid, right.
And I think that's okay. And I've told my kids that. I'm a mom of 4. You know what? You're probably not going to ever come to me and convince me to give you cash to start a company.
Right.
You probably aren't.
Yeah.
Because I don't want them to ever have the weight I felt
Yeah.
for those years on my children's shoulders. And my grandparents believed in me as much as the SBA did, as much as my parents did. But still, I wouldn't want to put anyone in that position
Yeah.
to have that kind of.
Yeah, I think even if it was a gift, like I feel real guilty when I take money. So if someone was, if my dad was to give me $50,000 and say, "Hey, you don't have to pay this back," like the whole time I'd be thinking, "Man, I didn't do this on my own."
Right.
Like I'd be feeling guilty the whole time.
Yeah.
Well, and
You know?
the adversity that you have to overcome in order to generate that startup capital or that down payment or whatever, that forges your character to a whole new level, which will only make you more successful later.
Right.
So.
And we can get, I mean, that's the thing is you can get creative, right?
Yeah.
You can get creative. And sometimes we do need to hit pause and say, you know what, is there another way we can do this?
Right.
But again, at 21,
You don't know no better.
you don't know any better. And it was big dreams. And it was, and granted, I did it and I made it work and I paid back my debt. But for 10 years, I had to feel the weight of that.
Yeah.
And I would just never want someone else to have that kind of pressure.
Right.
It's just not worth it.
Yeah.
It really, truly
And if something would have happened and it
is
didn't work
not
out,
worth it.
and you had to close up or do
Right.
it, and then you're still feeling that I have to pay them back on top of getting a job,
Right.
I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot to
And
take on.
I just don't think, and I get it. I get how people say, well, so-and-so has money but it changes the dynamic.
Yep.
It changes the dynamic of the relationship. Owing a bank money is one thing. Owing family members or
Yeah.
neighbors or
Yep.
I completely get it.
That would be the one thing I would say, just don't do it. Even though it seems easy. Easy is not always the best.
It's the easy way
choice.
out for
Right.
sure.
Right.
Yeah, it's hard to sit there and fill out that loan application and then convince a complete stranger
Right.
to give you money.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
easy to go to grandma and say,
Yeah.
she's not. You're not filling out an application. You
Well,
know.
and like when we started ours, I had borrowed the money from myself essentially, and I still gave myself a very strict, very, very strict timeline to pay it all back because I didn't want to be lazy. I wanted to be assertive, and I wanted to.
When it's in the back of your mind every day.
Yeah.
Every day you
Yeah.
wake up and you're like, okay, I've got to pay for this.
In my mind, the business wasn't even official yet until it was freestanding on its own financial legs.
Yeah.
And until it paid me back my
Yeah.
investment
Your
into
investment.
it was.
That's
it's
what
not
people
even legit yet.
people talk about that. They get into a lot of credit card debt. Like say something happens and they just have to live off it for 2 months or whatever.
Right.
They say the same thing. Like it just every day you wake up and it just weighs on you. every day you're thinking about it.
Yep.
You can't be happy that way, you
Right.
know?
And I was raised by parents, so it's interesting. I was raised by parents who paid cash for everything. My
Right.
parents just that's how we were raised. That's how we were brought up. So I know this is going to seem crazy, but I never had a business credit card, and I owned $1 million business and had between 30 and 50 employees.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of people
I
don't do it.
literally never had a
Yeah,
business
they work
credit
right out
card
of that checkbook.
because well, this was the thing. I was 21.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have a lot of, I mean, at 21,
You don't have any credit.
Well, I didn't have any credit. I had a lot of debt.
That'd be
But once it was just kind of like that thing. It was just like, okay, like I can't buy that new piece of equipment until I can pay cash for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it holds you accountable.
That's how we run our
holds you
business now
accountable.
is everything that we're doing is cash based. The only thing we finance is vehicles.
Right.
And that's simply because it lines up with the IRS's depreciation schedule. But outside of that,
Yeah.
we pay cash
It
for
takes
everything.
discipline.
It takes discipline.
Yeah.
It takes
and a lot
discipline.
of people will say, you know, and I get it, because now, like at home, I can fly anywhere for free because we have so many Southwest points.
Yeah.
But with business expenses, it's very different.
Yeah.
And it takes discipline. In 1 month of getting over your head,
Yep.
and then, you know, business is down,
Yeah.
it can be a huge setback.
So when I started mine, I did everything on a credit card, but that's because I was very meticulous about, like, I would match up my receipts to that statement every month, and I would
Good
sit
for
there and
you.
do it. And but that's just, I wanted to be able to get that independent, you know, statement every month, and I like points. You know, everybody likes points
I
and
like
cash back.
points.
You know, when you're putting, it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you're putting $25,000 a month on it, that stuff adds up real quick.
Oh yeah.
I mean, 1% cash back can be a lot of money, but it does take discipline. You have to pay that thing off every month, and that's why Dave Ramsey hates credit cards, because people don't do it because they're not disciplined.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's just, if you can do it where you're paying cash, that is the way to go,
Yeah.
because you're always on zero at the beginning of every month.
Right.
That's
We did Dave Ramsey, my husband and I, before we got married.
Oh, really?
So we did the Dave
The seven
Ramsey.
seven steps?
Oh, we did, yeah.
Is it
I
7
mean,
steps?
I don't remember what it was,
can't
but
remember.
I
You're
do
right.
remember
I think
having
it's
my
7 steps.
envelopes with our cash in it.
Yeah.
We laugh about it today because our grocery budget when we first got married is what we spend in about 3 days now.
Oh,
And
man.
we spend it for the whole month.
yeah.
And I would
Groceries
go in with my envelope to the grocery store, and I'd have my coupons in the envelope.
Yeah.
And
If that ain't birth control, I don't know what is.
mean,
Right.
well, now we have 4 kids.
That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
That's-
So-
Which
an
one's going hungry?
There's
Like,
a-
they're all their names are in a hat, and they're like, "Oh, Anthony's going hungry this
Yeah.
week. We don't have the money for him."
There's the
Yeah.
reason to hold off on kids right there.
But
Yeah.
Dave Ramsey,
We
I mean,
we have a lot of customers that will literally, like, when it comes time to pay their plumbing repair bill, they'll walk back into some room in their house and they'll pull out an envelope.
Yeah, it's got
And,
cash in it.
and then
Or
you'll hear
checkbook.
them talk, and they'll say, like, which envelope is that? Is that home repairs or is that the emergency? Like they've got them organized.
for them.
Yeah, and it's like, that's actually kind of cool.
good for them.
So,
I
Budget 101.
that's
Yeah.
amazing.
And people don't teach that anymore. Like, I feel like I'm 40, Mitch is 40. We, like, even my parents, they didn't do that. And I think if you were born around, 80, 84, I think that's when it started to wane off.
yeah.
Because, when you talk to my grandparents, my dad's like, "Oh no, the budget, this is what it was. This
Yep.
is how we did it. That's just what we did."
Yeah.
And then I, ask him, "Well, how come you didn't do that? If you know what I mean?" And I think that's just kind of when it started,
The baby boomers.
what they did it. The boomers did it.
They let us down.
Yeah, maybe.
So you had that other business. You sell it.
Yep.
It took you a minute to sell it.
Took me a minute.
'Cause you had
And while this is the thing, my story is I started practicing yoga 15 years ago.
Okay.
So the only piece I found, because owning my previous companies, it was stressful. It was overwhelmed. I like to tell people, like, I was surviving on coffee. I was surviving on wine, and I was just staying busy to stay numb because
Right.
there was so much overwhelm. And the one thing I found peace was on a yoga mat. I came to a yoga mat and I could breathe. I could think clearly. I could be present. And then it became like a drug. I was like, I need this. I need more of this. And then I realized, like, on that yoga mat, like, I don't want to own these companies anymore.
Right.
I don't want to live this life anymore.
I like this, not that.
Yeah.
Yeah. This isn't purposeful. I'm not living the the life I was put on this earth to live.
Right.
And that's where I really came up with the plan that I have to sell these.
Yeah.
I have to figure a way to get out. And then through that, I actually went through yoga teacher training and business life coaching training all at the same time.
Right.
Because I thought if yoga helped me, this broken down, at the time I had 2 kids, mom of 2, who was just surviving life and not thriving, there's other women out there just like me.
Yep.
And that's where it triggered this purpose. And so after I sold my companies, I just started teaching yoga simply as what I call my passion project. And God, it brought so much joy.
Yeah.
So that's
it's crazy how much faster your business can take off when it is truly
purpose-driven. 100%.
So.
And purpose-driven people, whether it's your business or just your life, the way you live, are happier.
Yeah.
And I thought that's now my mission, is to help women create and live a life they love.
Yeah. And so yours tied around being in a business that you came to realize you didn't have
alignment with at all.
Right. And so you sold it. Most of our listeners are probably in a very similar scenario, only they're not owning the business that they don't like. They're working at a job that they're out of alignment with.
Right.
And they're going to cross that bridge to their passion project, so to speak.
Yes.
And they're going to have an awakening at their job and say, this isn't for me.
That's right.
Let's identify what I am passionate about, and then let's
create a plan to turn it
put
into
a plan
business.
in place to do that. Yeah.
And that's so important, because those of us who choose to work, 1/3 of our life will be working.
Right.
It should be doing something you love.
Yeah.
If you are wanting to hit snooze in the morning, that is your indication. Change.
Yeah.
It takes one breath to change. You can change.
Yep.
And I hope the listeners hear that. If you are wanting to press snooze on your life, today take action.
Yeah.
Take action.
And we talk about that in the first few episodes. I think it's the first episode or second episode. We talk about, what it feels like to be trapped in your job, and then I think the next episode we go into, you need to figure out, is it the job? Mm-hmm. Is it the type of job?
Right.
Is it the place you work? Or do you need to be on your own?
Yeah. And
these are questions that, she had to answer in her journey, just like you answered, like I answered, just like everyone that the first questions we got and the guys on Facebook, hey man, just, those are sometimes people don't realize they need to just hear that.
Right.
Oh, you know what? Maybe they're right.
Right.
Maybe in the back of their mind, in their subconscious, they're thinking, man, I could do this.
There's an awakening that comes from it. Now,
yes.
Just like you had to go through some trenches to come to that awakening, that's not uncommon. There's a lot of people that have to go through that. Like, you have to know what bad looks like before you know what good looks like.
You have to be willing to get super uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because I tell people all the time, I was a collection of what everyone thought I should be. People see me today and still say that. Like, I was always one of those people, she's an overachiever. She's so successful. By 21, you had $1 million company. You had a home. Then by 22, I decided to buy a home in Lakewood. Like, I was a collection of what everyone else thought I should be, but I wasn't honoring my heart and my soul.
Right.
And that's the thing. It's like I'm living in alignment with what Joe Schmo and Sally think I should be doing.
Yeah.
But I wasn't honoring what Megan's heart and soul needed to feel complete.
Yeah.
And so, it is. It is like you have to get real uncomfortable and realize, like, all right.
And it's
like, this isn't working.
It's wild how fast the success starts to roll
when you follow alignment.
When you fall in line with that. It is, you'll struggle if you're not comfortable in your own skin. You are going to struggle and struggle and struggle to find success.
Absolutely.
But the moment you find you become authentic and you quit trying to impress other people for behaving like you think they want you to behave or acting like you think they want you to act,
it's freedom.
That right there is a
freedom.
big step towards success.
And don't think of it as you're going to stop doing this and automatically be successful. I've known guys that were making $50 an hour, working on commercial jobs or prevailing wage jobs or whatever, and they always thought the grass is greener over here. This is what I'm going to do. I've known guys, more than a few, that have gone and done that and then realized, like we've talked about in some of the previous episodes, that ain't for me.
The boomerang.
You know what I mean? And they're like, you know what? And sometimes it takes that lesson to go back, and now they realize, oh, you know what? I actually have more freedom working for somebody because I don't have the mental capacity. Not that you're not smart. I don't mean that.
No, yeah.
But that isn't what drives you.
Yeah.
You know what? You feel like that's too overwhelming. And when you're over here and your mind is free and you don't have to worry about the money and the finances, you can do your job. You can get your physical exercise. You can feel more free doing that than if you owned your own company.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's really it's not just about, I'm going to move on and start my own company and be happy. That's not what she means when she says stuff like that.
It's
you
finding
really
your
have
purpose.
to find what makes you happy and what your purpose is.
Yeah.
And typically it's some sort, at least in my experience, it's service. It's serving others.
Yeah.
It's serving, like I say in my practice, passion is what sets my soul on fire.
Right.
So passion is for me. Purpose is how I serve that passion to others.
Right.
And that's why I'm an entrepreneur, because I'm purpose driven. I want to go serve others. I get energy from serving others.
Yeah.
So that's when you kind of flip the switch into a purpose driven entrepreneur, because that passion's there for you, but then you have to go serve it to others.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Not to be biblical, but doesn't the good book say something about that too, Marcus?
I think it does.
About serving others?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fills your soul.
The
does.
there are a lot of people that are really good at executing tasks, but they're not good at creating the tasks that need to be executed. Those are people that may not be better suited in their own business.
Yeah.
They're going to be better suited at a higher level working for somebody else, letting somebody else, be a visionary and create all the things that need to be done, and then just point them in the right direction. And then as long as they're pointed in the right direction, they're going to execute.
And people change too. I mean, how many times do you hear about somebody that was great, super successful, and then they get to be 55 and they're like, you know what?
Right.
Let's keep it simple.
I don't want to do this anymore.
Right.
And they find something else and they're just as successful at it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a pretty common thing to be like an 8 to 10 year cycle on that kind of stuff.
People, everyone says, oh, people don't change. No, people change.
Yeah.
People's hearts change.
Well, they develop,
situations.
they
Your passions change, what you're interested in.
Yeah.
I ask people all the time, like when they're struggling with, I'm not happy at my job, and I'm like, well, tell me what this ideal or your perfect day looks like. And there are some people that their perfect job doesn't exist, and that's when I'm like, take a leap into entrepreneurship and create it then.
Yeah, make it.
If your perfect job doesn't exist, doesn't mean it's not available for you. You have the ability to create it.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting because a lot of people, unfortunately, because of social media, people will say, well, there's someone already doing that, or they know more, they're doing better. But I guarantee, you have the ability to create your very own thing and find your own customers, your own clients, your own people, your own tribe that need you. So when someone's like, I just can't find the job that sets my soul on fire, then create it.
Right.
What's
Make it
look
happen.
like? Make it happen.
And there's plenty of room in the marketplace for another yoga tribe similar to yours, right?
There's abundance, and that's a mindset. So I am literally an expert at mindset. I can mindset hack anything. It drives my kids nuts. They come home, they want to bitch about something, and I'm like, let's flip the switch. How can we see that from a different angle?
Right.
But it's so true.
Yeah.
It's an abundance mindset. There's enough out there for everyone.
Right.
And the reason you're going to have a successful business is because of you. You attract the people.
Right.
You attract the community. It's a unique gift.
Yeah.
And there's plenty available.
Plenty to go around.
I can't handle a scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
When people
there's plenty. This is America.
Well,
you would do anything in America.
That's pretty obvious with how you started in the pandemic.
Yeah.
So here the pandemic hits, you're trying to
Everyone panics.
There's
There's no work.
You're not a scarcity mind, you're an abundance mind, so you automatically start thinking up ways to deliver your product to your people without an actual in-person studio.
Yeah.
Does that ever get like tiring at times? Like,
So my husband likes to tell people, like, I will be honest, my husband, I think half of his business meetings, he talks about me, which is very humbling.
You mean he just doesn't want to pay for therapy? He's just going to business meetings?
You're probably right. Oh God, I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, she's bad
Yeah,
shit.
it's just therapy
But
for him.
He tells people
That's
all the time.
all.
He's like, never once. And I have been teaching yoga at least 5 mornings a week, every single morning at 6 a.m. for 6 years now, maybe 7. He will tell people like, and before I taught at home, I drove to a studio to teach. So I was up every morning at 4. He's like, she's never once not wanted to get out of bed.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. It literally coming to my mat and serving those women, it ignites the flame within me.
Yeah.
And I do it, and it's never once do I think, I wish I didn't have to do this morning.
So I'm like
I
almost
think that every
identical.
morning. But I'm just not a morning person. Once I do get up, I'm rolling.
Mornings are my jam.
No.
Yeah.
Once that about 1 cup of coffee in, I'm on fire and I'm ready to go.
So we started our business like 2 years ago, coming up on 2 years. About a year ago, I started getting up and working out at 5 every day.
Life changing.
And it is. And so it does 2 things. One, you get like this endorphin rush whenever you're done. Like I'm like,
Right.
I could go tackle the world whenever I'm done. But 2 is it helps me gauge the day. I'm not going to say I haven't missed a workout. There's times where I've missed a workout. Alarm goes off.
When
I
we've been here till
don't want to get up.
12:30 one night.
Yeah. Alarm goes off. I don't want to get up or whatever. Well, that is like from the moment I wake up in the morning and I've missed that workout, that's like an indicator for me that my mindset's not in the right spot that day. So I got to be careful because
Right.
it's like a trigger, like an on-off switch for.
Oh, it sets the tone for the whole day.
Yeah.
One of the things with my business coaching clients, the morning routine is essential.
Yeah.
I have met very few successful entrepreneurs that do not have their morning routine like to a T.
Yeah.
Because it sets the entire tone for the day.
Yep.
It helps with clarity. It helps with focus. It gives you that me time. And I'm not saying anything against men, but especially for women entrepreneurs who a lot of us are also getting kids on the bus, feeding them, drop off, pick up, like all of these other tasks that some of our counterparts get to just leave in the morning and go
Hey,
off
I
to
put the
work.
kid on the bus every day.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I think it's amazing.
I'm not her
I think
kids,
it's
but
amazing. And my husband and I, we are teammates. I mean, he's the better parent.
You have to be.
And we are a partnership. But the mornings, I am taking preschooler to preschool. I'm getting those kids on the bus. And so for me as a woman entrepreneur, I have to have that time
Yeah.
and that energy where there's not other energy in my space where I can just plan my day, set my mindset, take that breath, and I practice yoga every single morning.
I will say when you wake up in the morning and the kid is asleep and you
right?
get like 30 or 40 minutes, like even
It's dreamy.
if you're not doing anything and it's peaceful and it's quiet and you're just like, oh man, I wish it could be like this
Sitting
all
at the kitchen
day.
table in your holy bathrobe, drinking coffee
20 minutes later,
in quiet.
Dad, I'm hungry. Okay. All right. All right. Let's get going.
It was one of the biggest things. And I mean, I've had my morning routine for 10 years now. I'm a decade in to self-study and self-love for myself.
Yeah.
So a decade into it, it's a non-negotiable. It's literally my lifestyle. I don't even think about it. But I get it. It's hard if you've never had that routine. But once you instill that routine, man, you can I get up every day and I'm like, I'm going to change the world today.
Right.
Yeah. We were talking about routine the other day.
Yeah. We can change the world. Every single
Me and
day.
you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm referencing? I don't want to say anything on the podcast about it. He has no idea what I'm talking about. We'll talk about it
I guess
later.
it's over my head.
I'll remind you. He'll know. What? So back to just the actual business and getting it going. What was the most difficult part for you?
Hands down, technology. I'm sitting in this room right now, and like just technology, just like it's. I'm just in awe of people that naturally understand it. I had never taught an online yoga class when I opened an online yoga company.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I didn't even know the basics. I had never done a Zoom call. I had never done a Facebook Live. And so the technology for someone who my limiting belief is I'm bad at technology was that overwhelm. But I'm also a problem solver. And I'm like, I can figure this out. So Google, YouTube, people a lot smarter than me. People a lot smarter. I was really grateful. One of my husband's dear friends is a developer. So he was able to, he came over. I fed him a really good dinner. I gave him really good wine.
There you go.
I gave him, and I was like, this is my dream.
Help me.
And I wrote
Please
it out on
me.
a piece of paper, and I still have it. And he created and developed a website. My membership site. I already had a website, but he developed this website and we turned it into reality. But that didn't even get up and going. When I first launched the company, it was like a hodgepodge. It was like, you have to go to Vimeo to find the videos. You have to go to Facebook because I was just putting something together. Yeah. And then it took time to really develop.
Do you wish that you would have, if you could go back, would you have wished that you'd had like 60 days to prep and have all that stuff together? Or are you happy that it kind of just came together like that?
I'm glad it did because my gosh, I learned so much going through the process that I can be that mentor for someone else who's wanting to develop a membership site. Yeah. So I actually did it like hands-on, the tools, and learned it. I think also too, all of my members who signed up like right from the beginning, they got to see the progression. Yeah. They got to see like, wow, Megan.
And
like,
they love watching that.
The growth. I mean, these women are invested.
Well, I was gonna say they're vested, and now they tell everyone they know.
Oh,
if they go to a yoga class just with a friend of theirs and then everyone in that class, they're like, "Hey, I do this. I do Megan's Yoga Tribe.
I do it online.
Is what I do online at home." And they're like, "What?" Yeah. So I mean,
that's why we have almost 250 members. I've done zero marketing. I've paid for nothing. Right. This is grassroots from serving my purpose, pouring into these women, and they share on social media. They share with their neighbors. They share with their friends. It's so cool. Like during the pandemic, I like had this dream that I wanted to do a destination wellness retreat. I was like, we thought we were kind of coming out of it. Travel was opening up, and I was like, I'm doing this. Yeah. I'm going to do a wellness retreat. And I co-created with a resort in Arizona. And it was overwhelmed. I've never done anything like this before. I was creating a 3-day all-inclusive yoga wellness retreat. I was like, let's start with 8 people. It was about, I think around $2,000 a person. And let me tell you how this works when you host retreats. You are responsible for the monies, whether you sell one ticket or not. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you're booking them up front.
You are paying up front. Yep. Okay. I think it was like $20,000. My husband's like, you got this? Like, no, he is like totally confident. You got this. Well, let me tell you, it sold out in 9 minutes and we sold 26 women came with me to Arizona.
That's
in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah.
To do a
I was looking at your notes. I was like, I know she wrote that in there. I wonder what the number was.
And then
she's 26.
But then, so we did this. This was just September of 2021. Before we even left, they're like, we have to do this again. Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've already created the blueprint because the blueprint's the hardest thing. The first time you do something like this, it's all, and I'm like, okay.
You're like, now I know I can do it every 6 months or every year. And I just can just do it.
Yeah. So our next one is May 15th. Under 1 minute, 29 women.
Nice.
So it's just
Where's
so
the next
cool.
one going to be
Same
at?
place.
Same place?
Arizona.
Nice.
Yeah.
So 3 days, all inclusive. But the cool thing is because we're a virtual platform, we still do these Zoom lives. So we see each other. We have our Facebook group is very active. We are commenting, sharing. So these women who have never met in person came together.
They're besties.
Literally, the pictures, like they are interlocking arms, laying their head on each other's shoulders. Like we left completely connected with new BFFs. And it was just, for me, it's so cool to sit back and like watch women just like me who are, managing self-care, businesses, jobs, husbands, kids, give themselves permission to step out of their everyday life to invest in their health and wellness for 3 days. It was amazing.
Right.
Listen,
it just like sets me on fire.
Megan's Yoga Tribe. Because now I bet a lot of people are like, oh man,
I gotta know that.
Megan's yoga
Megan's
tribe.
Yoga Tribe.
And this is the coolest thing. I had a husband reach
Google
out
it.
to
It comes
me.
right up.
It does come up.
It comes right up.
A husband, so we got back from that trip, I think on like a Thursday. A husband reached out to me that weekend. He's like, whatever you did to my wife,
Do it again.
do it again. She's never been happier.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was just like, it was magic. She came home. She's never been happier.
That's great.
And that is it. That's all I want, is to help women create and live that life they love.
That's the community involvement we
That's
talk
it.
about all the
Well,
time.
yeah,
That's
so,
really, I
like-
mean, that's the community
Oh,
involvement
that's
part
my
of her
business.
company,
Yeah,
right?
like, it's-
I mean,
that's kinda her
obviously, yes,
business
that's your
model,
whole
right?
business, but that's like that's one of the big outreaches
Yes.
Uh-huh.
that I would compare to, being a member of the chamber,
Well,
and that group of people. She's just creating her own group.
That's right.
Within the community.
Yeah.
And they really feel that connection because I know them and I care about them. I have that on my sales page when you sign up for my membership. What's the difference between YouTube Yoga and Megan's Yoga Tribe? I care about you.
Right.
I truly care about you.
Well, there's a connection
I'm
there.
going to get to know you. I'm going to get to know where you like to travel. I'm going to get to know your body if you're dealing with an injury.
Right.
I care about you.
And if you don't show up, you're gonna call them.
If they don't show up, they get a message. And this is the thing. So I hadn't seen one of my regular clients for a couple weeks, and she's consistent on Zoom every morning. I reach out to her, and this may be too much information. I won't say her name, but she's like, "Oh, I actually got my implants taken out, so I'm recovering." But this is the
Sad
thing.
day.
Do you know? I bet her yoga practice will be better though.
There you go.
But this is the thing, like, it just like fills me up that like we notice, my instructors, we notice if someone's missing, and there was a reason. It wasn't like she was just ghosting us. And then I just wanted her to know, like, we miss you.
Yeah.
And if you need anything, let us know.
I love it.
And
We
so
are
this
community.
we got a theme going on here. Every guest we've brought on has talked about how their business grew to a stable and substantial level with zero marketing. And when you are small and new into business, it should be a warning to you if you're not growing at that and you're considering having to pay for marketing. Chances are your product that you've put together is not where it needs to be. If you're not getting those word of mouth referrals and you're not getting those people that are bragging about you and talking about you and wanting to buy your product or use your service, you need to improve that product or service.
Wholeheartedly agree.
So there's
or
no
listen to your customers. Ask for feedback.
Right.
So important.
right.
My clients tell me what they want. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Megan, we want a Mexico retreat next time. All right.
All right.
Girl, we want to go to Cabo.
Megan, we would like a
go to
lunchtime
Cabo.
class. Like, and I pull them and I ask them what they want because I
Oh,
want
lunchtime
to serve
class.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do 3 now. We have 3. So when I started out, it was just me,
Yeah.
good old me. Now I have 7 instructors that teach for me. We have 11 live Zoom classes a week. We started out with 5. So yeah, we pull that community because we want to serve them and meet them where they're at.
Right.
So
I love it.
important.
That is
So
cool.
important.
That's episode 7, 101 right there.
Well, yeah, community involvement.
Yeah.
Totally.
That's it.
Step 6.
Yeah.
So my
4.
bar teacher.
Step 4.
4.
Step 4. Okay, so
Sorry, step 4.
Step
I'm all a little jacked up today.
well, my bar teacher, she's 27, mama too, and was diagnosed recently with malignant melanoma.
Oh no.
Very aggressive on her scalp, had to have like major surgeries, 24 months of immunotherapy, which is basically another type of chemo.
Yeah.
In 1 month, our community raised $2,200 for her.
Wow.
It's just like mind blowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like
Just
it
yoga
was
girls.
It
Yeah,
was so
that's what
cool
you think
because
of.
what
Oh,
I
really?
did
Yeah.
when she first reached out and was like, I knew what she was kind of going through. I had already had a Thanksgiving class, a free class planned just for anyone, not just my community, for anyone.
Right.
And I've never ever done what you call a donation based. A lot of yoga instructors do them where you just show up and you pay if you want.
Yeah.
Right.
If you want
It's
to
a
pay $2
donation.
or $5 or whatever.
Donation based class. Well, I decided when she told me about her diagnosis, my Thanksgiving live Zoom class, I would do a donation class. So I had already had it planned. I changed my Facebook thing. I said, this is a donation class. Here's the story of my bar teacher, what's going on. Here's my Venmo. write her name if you want to donate. I taught a 45-minute yoga class and $875 was donated.
Nice.
Holy cow.
Nice.
That's community.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it's
that's
That is
community
when you know
involvement.
what you're doing, what you're supposed to be doing on this earth.
yeah.
I
And
love her
that's-
passion.
That's when you've got
Like you can
That's
tell
when
the
you-
things that really excite her. She's just,
yeah.
I mean, I like it.
Lights my soul up. And then we did
And that's what
shirts.
helps your business grow.
Yeah.
Like people can sense that. People can feel that. People know that it's real. You know, and you're not just faking it.
Right.
But
You know what I
because
mean?
I did fake it in my other businesses. So
Right?
I
Yeah.
know
You learned.
That's why I care so much about
Yeah.
helping other people step into their truth.
Right.
Because I know what it feels like to get up every day and wish you were doing something else.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel good.
Yeah. I've been
It's
there.
broken. You're
Yeah.
broken. And
Yeah.
and it took this
We've all
journey.
been there.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we were able to do that, and then we did a T-shirt, a smile through it, because her saying when she's like kicking our ass, literally, she's like does these things where you're like, I don't think my leg can move like that. She'll say, smile through it, ladies, smile
Yeah.
through it. So
Yeah.
I branded a shirt that says smile through it, and then we put our logo on on the back, and we sold 75 of these shirts.
Holy cow.
Great.
That's cool.
I love it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Just a collection of amazing, badass women.
Yeah. What when you started out, what was the easiest?
The community.
The community?
I think she's answered that question.
No, I think.
Well-
Not really, but I mean, obviously,
yeah.
Right.
The community.
just supported her.
the people that were like, we trust you, Megan, we believe in you, we're
Yeah.
going to give this a try, even though I will tell you, I had a limiting belief that I had to be in a yoga studio to practice yoga. So
Yeah.
I hadn't even drank my own Kool-Aid. And I had a yoga studio in my house that I had just finished building right before the pandemic. And I was like, can I really do this? Because I felt like I had to be in a studio for it to be yoga. And so the fact that these women were like, I'll give this a try.
Yeah.
And then what they realized is they're saving time. They're saving a shit ton of money, because
Yeah.
one of my biggest things is I want this price point to be available for anyone. And I can tell you right now, if you're on a budget, I've got a coupon code, or you know what? I have some people on my membership for free because they need the mindfulness. They
Yeah.
need the movement. And it was the saving of the money, the saving of the time, really realizing for me, like, I didn't do the morning routine with my kids for 6 years because I was in a studio teaching. Now I'm home to see my kids in the morning. Some days I love that, some days I don't.
Right.
But
That's every parent,
you
right?
know, for a lot of women, if you're gonna work out, you're gonna have to miss something in the morning, miss something in the evening, maybe miss a carpool, maybe have to get, you're sacrificing something else. And with my program, they don't have to.
Right.
And their kids can be there. A lot of women would have to get a babysitter to be able to go to a gym or a yoga studio.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
they can be playing just in the living room,
They
and
can be there.
if something crazy happens,
You can log off.
yeah,
It's virtual.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
no big deal.
It's the zero expectations. You can log in, you can log off. If you want to come live, you can, or you can do the on demands. So it fits for that busy woman, that busy wife.
Yeah.
But it took COVID to realize for me that I could do it from home.
Yeah.
And then when I realized I could, I was like, damn, this is nice.
Yeah.
Like, I have so much more time.
Yeah.
Because for me to teach an in-studio class, I would get there at least 30 minutes early. I would teach my class, and then I would stay 30 minutes
Yeah.
late. And
Talking,
then I
I'm
drove
sure.
home. So I was gone between 2.5 and 3 hours for
For
1
one
hour
30
class.
minute. Yep.
Yeah,
You guys, now I walk in my basement, I teach, and I walk upstairs.
Yeah,
and I'm
you're
back
done.
to mom, and I'm back to wife. And it's just, and my clients are doing the same thing.
Right.
They're able to take care of themselves. There's not all those roadblocks of, I have to get a sitter, I have to get up early, I have to miss carpool. Oh my gosh, I can't afford a $140 membership.
Right.
There's none of that roadblocks.
Yeah.
They still feel community.
Yeah.
So
That's
I like it.
that's awesome.
But I had to drink my own Kool-Aid.
yeah.
Be like,
And it's wild once you're on that right product, how fast they'll come back around to you.
Yeah,
So and they'll full on support you and help do your marketing for you and get everyone else.
it seems to be a
support you too.
very inspiring story too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, what am I going to do? And then all of a sudden, no, I'm just going to do it. You do it, and then you have this tremendous support from the community, and you're just like, I am actually feeling it. It's not that it was, she talks about it being purpose driven and that being her, driving factor. And in making the company successful, but it didn't just make the company successful.
Right.
It's a whole nother driving factor is I get to help women do it.
Oh my gosh. Change their lives.
Yeah, and she's changing their life. So she not only does she have two things that drive her, not one thing, but two great things that drive her to do it.
Right.
Which is,
So
I mean,
cool.
it's just very inspiring.
It's so cool when I get to hear the feedback and the reviews that people write about how this habit of yoga and coming to their mat with me has changed their lives.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool too, because, I'm just this small, tiny online yoga studio, and this Lee Summit Lifestyles is a magazine in Lee Summit.
Yeah.
They reached out to me and featured me in their January article. Talk about humbling.
Yeah.
Like totally humbling. I'm just like this small little solopreneur
Right.
serving my purpose on this earth, and they did a whole spread on me.
Yeah.
That's
And-
amazing.
And that's the other thing too,
So cool.
is if she didn't know it was going to be that successful. She didn't know. Obviously, she just said
No.
it was humbling. Don't think that if you do have a small idea, even if it's a small business from home, which a lot of women are doing now, they're like they think it's going to be a little side hustle or this or what. Look, if it drives you, do it, because it could be huge. You have
Right.
no idea
And
how you could change your life. You could change other people's lives. Don't be afraid to do it just because you think it's going to be some small little insignificant thing,
yeah.
because it may be something really great.
But the key differentiation between somebody doing that small thing that never really goes anywhere and somebody doing that small thing that explodes is the level of passion that they have behind it and the
Bingo.
level of commitment that they have to
Consistency.
serve their customers.
Yeah.
Right?
That's it.
So
Yeah.
Serve. One year, I pick a focus word every year. And 1 year it was serve, and the next year it was create. And believe it or not, is when I created this online company.
well, there you go.
And so it was
love it.
like, but this is why it worked. The year before it was to serve. So all I did was serve, give. And then when I created the company, the people were there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All those people who I had poured into,
Yeah.
who I had served, were there.
Well,
They were there to serve you in
They
return.
were there. And I tell them at least once a week, if not more. And every single in-person event I do, because I do a lot around Eastern Jackson County, I thank people before we start. I thank you for making your health and happiness a priority and allowing me to serve my purpose.
Right.
Because when they show up to that event or they show up to their mat, they're allowing me to serve my purpose. So it's super cool.
That is cool. That is real cool.
Very
We,
inspiring.
We even talked about that in episode 7, where we were talking about like the community involvement work that we do with our company. And we mentioned like we weren't prepared for the response that would come from it. Like we thought we're just doing a good thing for the community. But then when the community comes back and responds in a way that just fills our schedule for us,
It's amazing.
it's like it's a big indicator. Okay, you're on the right path. You're doing the right thing.
That's right.
So-
And that's your core values. That's your core values, and that's what attracts people to your business.
Yeah.
And it was something as simple. We, as a community, Megan's Yoga Tribe online members, we adopted through Foster Adopt Connect. We adopted a child for Christmas, and it's so convenient these days because you can do their Amazon wish list.
Yeah.
The amount of
Click,
gifts
click.
these women, I mean, this little girl, what she was blessed with because of these women, and that comes from the core values. Anyone that does business with me knows that. This is who I am. Like, they have no question. Like, I am going to serve. I'm going to bring you together. We are going to help others together as a community, and we're going to make a big impact.
Right.
And so it's so neat when you get that collective of right customers, right clients who also are aligned with your core values.
Yeah.
That's who you want.
Right.
Yeah. Right-minded
That's
people.
who you want.
Yeah.
Right-minded
Yeah.
people.
Those
Yeah.
are my
And,
people.
and you attract people that are like you.
And
You know what I mean?
Those are those core values.
core values aren't something that's plastered on the wall in the break room at the
Right.
office that you work at. Core values are how you behave.
That's right.
I worked at a place where they plastered them up on the wall, and they always referred to them up on the wall. But
That doesn't help. They're on the wall.
My philosophy is we shouldn't have to put them on the wall for people to understand what they are. Like if they have to see them on a wall to understand what they are, then we're not doing that
Not doing
right.
them.
Yeah. So
You're not living them out.
right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's neat. What as you got off and got rolling and got started, what was one of the more difficult things that you encountered after you're off and running?
I think growth has been really challenging because when I started this, the intention was never to have more instructors. It was just me. I was just going to teach.
Right.
And then I realized like, wow, like I need to hire instructors.
Yeah.
So the growth has been challenging because
Do you mean not necessarily the people coming to you? It's the staff. Do you mean the staff and
No,
everything to help it go?
Because we've grown so much with members that I want to offer more variety of classes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
So when we first started, we were Megan's Yoga Tribe. Okay. Now we are Megan's Yoga Tribe, but we're a fitness studio. We offer yoga, bar, Pilates, and HIIT classes. So I actually have bar teachers, Pilates teachers, I have booty yoga teachers, and I have personal trainers that teach interval training. So I went from just this yoga, just these 5 little yoga classes that I taught, different modalities of yoga, to branching out to serve more people. And so that was kind of the thing, like, what direction do I want to go?
Yeah.
But I think it's neat because I am a true believer that we need all modalities. We need some cardiovascular work.
Yeah.
We also need mindfulness. We need that deep stretch, that yin, we call it, or restorative. And then we need to use some light weights because we need some long, lean muscles to keep our skeletons strong. And so I kind of was like, you know what? We need all these modalities. And I want my members to have access to lots of varieties so that I can meet them where they're at. Whether they have never done yoga before or barely worked out, there's something available for them. Or if they're like achieving massive goals and they like, want to have a 6-pack. Okay, I have something for that too. So I want to have something for everyone.
See, I'm going for the 6-pack. That's my summer goal.
Good for you.
Be a 40-year-old with 6-pack.
You should try my HIIT Fit yoga class.
Yeah.
HIIT Fit yoga.
It's women only.
Yeah.
You can do the on demand though.
Oh.
You can do the on demand. I will tell you,
tried to get out of that real quick, didn't you, Mitch?
My husband came to one of my classes, one of my HIIT Fit classes. And I kid you not, this is back when we were still in studio, so way before pandemic. And one of the gals next to him said he was making dying animal sounds the whole class.
Well, the last time I attended a gym that about made me pass out on day one, I signed up for a membership like that day. So,
man.
I mean, it is. I say Wednesday is my most humbling day of the week, and it reminds me how strong I am because HIIT Fit yoga is intense. It takes grit and grace, but I am also myself and all my instructors. Like, we offer modifications. We remind people to honor where they're at, to give themselves grace, but we also want you to know that you're stronger than you know.
Yeah.
Like, you have been through a lot of hard things. You have risen up day after day after day, but honor where you're at. If something doesn't feel right, I'm going to educate you, like what your central nervous system is. I'm going to get you to the right place in your parasympathetic nervous system. I want you to be peace and calm.
See,
I like it, man.
I got hit. Today's Tuesday as we're filming this. Tomorrow's Wednesday.
That's right.
That's HIIT day at my gym too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
are you not going? I don't understand.
Must be a thing that Wednesday is a good day for HIIT day, like hump day.
Yeah.
Let's put the most strenuous workout of the day in on Wednesday.
In our classes, so we offer 30-minute classes, 45-minute classes, and 60-minute classes. And then I also do workshops. So I allow my instructors to offer workshops on our platform.
Yeah.
And then I bring in a guest instructor. It doesn't have to be a fitness instructor. Tomorrow night is actually a pelvic floor physical therapist that I'm bringing in and doing a live workshop teaching about pelvic floor.
I wasn't even going to say anything. I was like, that's over my head. I'm just let it go.
So many women are suffering in silence with all kinds of problems with pelvic floor.
Having to cross their legs every time they sneeze.
Peeing, having pain with sex, incontinence.
Oh yeah.
Literally just all kinds of ailments. And so for me, I can provide, like, it's just extra. I just bring this value. I bring in these people. I've brought in therapists to teach self-love. I've brought in healers to do different healing things, different kind of instructors, guides to bring in every single month. I have someone come in and do just a freebie pop-up class for my community.
That's cool.
So it's
I like
a way we have 25 people signed up to come tomorrow night to learn about pelvic floor.
And you'll probably have
come to Zoom.
You probably have another
Digital.
10.
Digitally.
It's all Zoom.
Yeah.
It's all Zoom. And then all the classes are recorded. So if people can't join live, they have access still to the information.
From their
Right.
membership.
From their membership.
Nice.
Got a dance recital to attend to. I'm going to get it later.
That's right.
type of
I had
thing.
a lady ask this morning. She's like, Megan, will it be recorded? Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have a
I like
thing
it.
for pop-up classes, and they can go there and find all the different pop-up classes.
Well, that is really cool.
It is really cool.
That is awesome.
I learned it. So before, I always go and prep and, try to read about it, especially if I don't know anyone, find out everything. I learned
Still
so
learning.
much today, and I've learned so much on this show about yoga, sage. We did a lot of pre-show stuff, and I am truly inspired by you.
Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, thank
Wow.
you.
I've been intrigued by yoga for a while. I'm scared to try it because I am not flexible.
You're afraid Megan's gonna hurt you?
I'm afraid. I'd be looking at it like I still have to work tomorrow.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I don't want to hurt myself.
There's moments.
Dude,
where
you could be
it's-
sore.
Oh, I know.
Oh, man, you could snap something.
You could be real
Trying to overdo it.
I bet yoga would kick my ass harder than the gym does.
Oh, guarantee it would.
And I
So-
will tell you, no one ever leaves my class feeling like they didn't get a workout or they
Right.
didn't. I mean,
Yeah.
it is.
Man,
I have
Stretching.
instructors that
Oh.
teach more like what I call like yin or yin yasa or restorative. My specialty is like, I'm gonna make you sweat.
Kick your ass.
I'm gonna put you in that crescent lunge, and then I'm gonna have you pulse your knee down towards the earth for a while, and maybe hold some light weights. And
dude, those muscles you don't know you have start
yeah.
working. You're in panic mode.
but it's so empowering.
You're so in panic mode.
It's so empowering, and it's those endorphins
To dominate
It's-
Yeah.
It's magic. I call it my magic carpet ride. Literally my yoga mat. It's my magic carpet ride.
I
So
like it.
Like 3 years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I had a friend convince me to go to a body pump class down the street at the YMCA.
Yeah.
And so I go.
Talking about the one by South.
Yeah. And so I go, and it's like I'm the only guy there.
Right.
And all of these, like, I'm the youngest person there by at least 10 years. And except for my friend that taught me, or, convinced me to go. And it's doing, like, most of these people are working out with, like, a bar only. No weights on it, no nothing. And they're just doing, like, a whole bunch of curls and a whole bunch of, like,
And steps,
shoulder
right?
press.
Were you doing steps?
yeah,
The
it's
steps.
like aerobic, and it's, like, to music, and it's, like, to
I
a
really
beat.
wish there was a video.
I know.
Oh,
Those same people have been doing it for 30 years.
well, yeah. And so I'm like, these women are 20 years older. Like, I'm going to put some weight on this bar.
You like
I'm
gotta
gonna make it
put a couple
workout, right?
fives on there at least,
So I completed the workout.
and then went in the parking lot and threw up.
The next morning, I couldn't even put
So
my
sore.
contacts in.
So
My arm would not, I couldn't touch my eye. And it was like that for like a day and a half.
yeah.
I was so sore. Like, oh my gosh. So
Those are toning. You know what you should do? Try to remember that. And then when you get home after your big workouts at the gyms, then do those.
Go do
Dude,
those.
you'll be super cut.
yeah.
Well, and our muscles.
Or I
have
could just do yoga.
Or you could do yoga. Muscles have memory, but I think the cool thing too, specifically about my classes, is people feel progress and they see transformation. Because if you're just doing something day after day, which great, yeah, the mindfulness is wonderful. You feel zen, you feel confident, you're more at peace and ease, but for my clients, when they are like, holy shit, I
Yeah.
could hold that plank longer. Or, oh my gosh, I just did the jogging chaturangas for the first time. Like, I get messages all the time after class, like, oh my gosh, I did all of ABC. Like,
Yeah.
I really teach where you get stronger,
Yeah.
where you see the results, you feel the results.
Then when they look in the mirror and all of a sudden there's
my
a new
gosh.
shadow from a new
Oh, I
like
had a-
area of lean.
They're
or,
literally like, oh my gosh, look at my tricep.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
like-
holy moly.
Yeah.
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 Holding
Things
yourself
are-
up's
things
tough.
are
So
changing.
it's so cool that there's that transformation part. There's
Yeah.
that progress that they see themselves transforming, but they feel it too.
Right.
So I think it's pretty cool.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, I think that about wraps up our show here with Megan. Megan, throw out where you are on social media and stuff like that. so
Shameless
these-
plug here, please.
Yeah, so they can find you.
Right. So I'm Megan's Yoga Tribe. You
Okay.
will find me on Instagram. You will find me on Facebook. I will tell you that I that's all I can keep up with. I know
Right.
there's lots of social sites, but unfortunately, I
It's
have
too
4
much.
kids.
It's
Yeah.
too much.
And it's too much,
Yeah.
right? I would have to watch a YouTube video to figure out how to work it. So
TikTok.
Facebook, oh gosh, Facebook, Instagram, Megan's Yoga Tribe, my website, createandlivealifeyoulove.com
Okay.
or megansyogatribe.com.
If you Google Megan's Yoga Tribe,
Yeah.
it comes right up.
Perfect.
And there's a 7-day free trial to my membership. So you can try out all the classes, 11 live Zooms a week, over 550 on-demand classes, tons of modalities. Come in, experience the community. There is no ego. There's no competition. There's no judgment. You show up where you're at. You flow and grow. You will feel like you belong.
Yeah.
Hands down. So yeah, 7 days free. Try it out.
That is cool.
Mitch is going to be doing the on-demands.
Yes.
I guarantee he tries
I'm gonna
at
try
least
it.
one.
I can guarantee
Yeah.
you I'm going to try it.
I
You
like
gotta
it.
try it.
So, guys, remember if you like what you're hearing on the show, please do us a favor and help share the show with anybody else who might also be wanting to start their business. I think Megan is a good example of this. That a business can go anywhere where there is a need, and so. Just as we've said before, the pandemic that we've recently gone through created tons of opportunity for people to create businesses seemingly out of thin air, and Megan is proof of that. So, if you see somebody on Facebook groups or anything like that for your local crafts or your trades or whatever it is that you do, and they have questions about starting their own business, feel free to send them a link to the show. And again, anything episode 1 through 9 is our steps to that you're going to want to achieve or overcome in order to successfully start your business. So, if you're looking for where our show may be, we're going to be on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify, and we're also on YouTube. So until next week, we will see you later. And again, Megan, thanks for
Thank you, Megan. Appreciate
this
it, girl.
so much better than solo parenting 4 kids tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, I left.
You got to solo parent 2 kids.
Yes.
instead.
Yeah, just
yes, 2 adults, 2 adult kids.
Adultish kids.
Yeah, I left the 11-year-old to put the other kids to bed. What are the odds that they're actually asleep?
Well, it's not 8 o'clock yet, so you'll be
7:30.
okay.
One of the kids' bedtime was 7:30.
0% chance that
yeah.
kid's
Shit.
asleep.
Okay.
Zero.
That's
Feet-
always my goal is like just have them in bed when I get home.
Feet stomping up the stairs when you come in the door.
They're
that's
gonna
what
be
that.
ready.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
what
it.
that is.
I
Yeah.
love it, man.
So,
Yeah.
No,
So
thank you, Megan.
You.
Thank you
It
so
was-
much.
It was an honor to be
Appreciate
here
it.
with you guys.
Love it.
all right, we'll
All
see
right,
you guys later.
Thank you.
Good night.